Hey, what's up guys? It's CovertCode here, and in today's video I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a working game pass. So the first thing you need to do is actually go on Roblox's website, click the create button at the top of your screen, which is this one right here, okay? And this will take you to your essentially your developer page, okay? You'll be able to see all the shirts, places, game passes, models, etc. which you've made before. And you're just going to go to the group, or if you don't want to create the game pass underneath a group, you're just going to go underneath My Creations tab right there, okay? And it's pretty much the same, just click on Game Passes, okay? Right there. Click on that, and this will take you to this page, which will ask you to create a game pass. And all you have to do is click on this choose file button right there, okay? And you're just going to pick an image for your game pass. It can be whatever you guys want. I'm just going to choose a random image just for the purposes of this tutorial. And once you've done that, just fill in the game pass name. And if you want, you can also add a description. So let me just do that right now. Okay guys, so pretty much all I did, I picked an image, I also picked a random name. Actually, I forgot to do that, so let me just say Game Pass Tutorial Test, okay? And I also added a very brief description. You're just gonna click preview, and you're just gonna make sure that everything looks okay, okay? So this is pretty much how it'll look. Not really, but you know, just click verify upload, and this is just going to upload your Game Pass. Now this image here, you know, it's not the same image you picked, and that's because it has to be moderated first, okay? So they have, like, Roblox has to check if your image is appropriate, and that's what this image means. And whenever your image is done being moderated, then, you know, this will actually be, like, become the image that you chose. All you're going to do is click on that, okay? And you're going to click configure right there, and click on sales and toggle this slider button right there. And I'm just going to put this on sale for 1 Robux just for the, you know, the tutorial. You can price this at any amount you guys want. Keep in mind that any amount you actually set this to, you're only going to get 70% of that. So if I put this at 100, whenever someone buys your Game Pass, you're only going to get 70 Robux, okay? Let me just put that at 1, okay? And make sure to press save. And there you go. Click go to details, okay? And this will take you to the Game Pass page, and you're just going to pretty much just find the URL. So that's the link, okay? So let me just bring the URL up on my screen now, and there's a very specific and very important part of that URL that you are going to need to write down, and that's the number portion, which I'm highlighting on the screen now. Just make sure to copy that down and store that somewhere, because you're gonna need this later on. Okay guys, so now we're in Roblox Studio. We're actually going to start scripting our Game Pass system. So let's make sure you can actually view the Explorer tab, the Properties tab, and the Output tab by going to View and click on the Explorer button, Properties button, and, you know, the Output button. And also make sure that you can actually see the Insert Objects tab by going to Model and click on Insert Object, okay? So click on Starter GUI and insert a screen GUI inside of that, and just name that Game Pass UI, okay? We're going to make a button inside of that, like so, and we're going to call this text button. Just leave it at that, okay? Next, we're going to simply just change the size from this to 0.10, 0.10, just like that, okay? And set this border size pixel property to 0. Now, we're going to change the text to Buy Game Pass, just like that, and click on text scaled, okay? And now, from here on out, it's completely up to you. The button will work just fine at this stage, okay? But I just want to make this look great for you guys, so I'm just going to click on font and change that to some random font which will look nice, like this. And change the text color by clicking on this block of color right there. Make that white. Change the background color to something like very bright green, something like that. And I'm also going to be adding a UI corner inside of that text button, just like this. And that will just pretty much make it look really nice, smooth, and polished. I'm going to set the offset to 0 and set the scale to 0.2, just like that. And then I'm just going to click on the text button, and as you guys can see, these sort of selection arrows or whatever you want to call them came up. I'm just going to, slide this around to resize the GUI. Just, position it around, not position it around, just, resize it. Just make sure it looks good for you guys, and essentially just bring it up to a certain standard, which is to your liking. Now, just click on this, drag to move it around, and I'm just going to put this in the corner, just like that. And I'm also going to be setting the text stroke transparency to 0.5 to make it nice and polished. Now, I'm going to be creating a local script inside of the screen GUI, okay? So local script, and I'm going to be calling this prompt. Now, empty everything inside of the script, and I'm going to declare a few variables. Now, if you don't know what variables are, I do have a video on variables. Link will be in the description below. But the first variable is marketplace service. So local marketplace service is equal to game get service marketplace service, just like that. And I'll explain what I'm declaring here in just a second. And remember, I told you to actually remember or write down the number in that URL. This is where it comes into play, okay? So local game pass ID, and you're just going to paste the game pass ID or that number I told you about right there, okay? And in my case, that is that number right there, okay? This will be different for every single one of you guys, so just make sure to copy and paste that number in the URL, okay? Next, we're going to be declaring two more variables, okay? So local player is equal to game.players.localPlayer, and local button is equal to script.parent text button. Now, this variable right here is essentially calling upon the marketplace service, and what the marketplace service is essentially this sort of facility for you guys to use. Pretty much relates to anything relating to sales, okay? So if you're gonna sell a Game Pass, you would use this to check if someone owns a Game Pass, or you would use it to, sell them the Game Pass, and it has a wide array of functions. I'll leave the link to the marketplace service in the description below, just in case some of you are curious enough to just go read about it, learn exactly what it does. Just link will be in the description below, okay? Next up, this is just a number variable, pretty simple. If you don't know what variables are, again, link in the description below to the video about variables. And this variable right here, local player is equal to game.players.localPlayer, this will always point, okay? Assuming you're using a local script like we are, this will always point to your player, okay? So if I click play, this variable is going to point to this guy right here. So join this guy, okay? So you, essentially, your player object. This will contain all sorts of data, but you don't need to really, know anything from there. Just remember that essentially means your player. Now, local button is equal to script.parent. So this is the script, okay? This is the parent, just like this, and then you're accessing something inside of the parent by saying .text button, okay? And you're essentially searching for something called text button within that screen GUI, and obviously this exists, so you're referencing that pretty much. I do have an entire series on how to script, so if you don't know how to script at all and you're struggling to keep up, I would suggest watching that and then coming back, okay? Link will also be in the description below. Now, this is the final part of this script, and this is just going to say button, okay, .mouse, button one click, connect, function, okay, and marketplace service, prompt Game Pass purchase, just like that, player, Game Pass ID. Let me explain this. All you're doing is essentially you're asking the marketplace service, which I mentioned earlier, okay? And you're asking it to prompt a Game Pass purchase. So you're gonna bring up that box on their screen, which asks them to buy or cancel, essentially. And you're telling it what player you want that to, be prompted to. In our case, that's you, the local player, okay? And then you're just going to add the Game Pass ID. So that number I told you to copy and paste, that is the second parameter you want to pass. And again, I have a video on functions just in case you don't know what parameters are. You don't have to know, just know that you have to add this comma and the Game Pass ID, okay? And if we just click play, just like this, whenever I click this buy Game Pass button, okay, a window is going to come up on my screen and it's going to ask me to, buy the Game Pass, just like this. Now here's the thing, I accidentally created the Game Pass underneath a separate place, and that is not a problem, okay? So just click stop, and I'm going to go to game settings, okay? And this is essentially just the settings, for your game. Click on security, okay? And click on allow third-party sales, just like that, and click save. Now, you don't have to do this. You only need to do this if you messed up like I did and forgot to choose the place, okay? Like I told you in the beginning, okay? And joining in, like that, and click on the button, and as you guys can see, I've been prompted to buy the Game Pass, but if I click buy now, nothing's gonna happen, okay? And just in case you're worried about spending Robux while you're testing this out, just keep in mind that whenever you're prompted with a purchase in Studio, okay, you will not be charged. There's a little disclaimer here which will actually, tell you that you won't be charged. So just, click buy now, nothing will happen, you won't be charged Robux, okay? So click stop and let's proceed. So click on server script service, okay? And insert a script and call this listener, okay? And delete everything inside of that script. So what we did in this script is essentially we sent a signal to marketplace service and we told them, hey, show them the window which will actually tell them to buy the Game Pass, okay? Now, if they actually did buy the Game Pass, we need to be listening sort of for them to actually do that. So let me just rephrase there. If they buy the Game Pass, we need to know about it. And what we're going to be doing now is essentially knowing about it, pretty much. So let me just explain, with code so you can actually understand better. So local, a few variables here, guys. So local marketplace service is equal to game get service marketplace service. Same thing, you're accessing and storing marketplace service inside of that variable. Okay, local game pass ID, same thing, just copy that same number, okay, just like that. Now we're going to be using something called game.players player added connect function player. Now that is a lot to break down. Again, I have a video on events, so if you don't know what events are, go check that out. But all we're doing here essentially is whenever someone joins your game, okay, you're referring this function and you're gonna do stuff. So do stuff when someone joins your game. Okay, that's all we're doing here, and this is the player which actually joined your game, okay? And that's because whenever someone joins your game, you want to check if they own the Game Pass, right? So if they own the Game Pass, you want to give them the benefits of that Game Pass, naturally. And we're just going to create a new function called local owns Game Pass, okay? And give it two arguments, player and Game Pass ID. Don't write Game Pass ID in this format. It's different for a reason, okay? So, oh, and I also forgot to add local function, okay? Owns Game Pass, just like that. And all you're gonna do here is return, okay? Again, video on functions, link in the description below if you're confused. So return marketplace service, okay? User owns Game Pass async, and I'll explain this in just a second. Okay, user ID, Game Pass ID, just like that. Now, whenever you reference this function in the script, it's going to give you a value back. That's what the return means, okay? And you're essentially asking the marketplace service, hey, does this player own Game Pass, okay, with this ID? So this is the player's user ID, okay? And if you don't know what that is, imagine like an ID card or something like that, It's unique for every single player on Roblox. So this is just your unique ID number, okay? And this is the unique ID number for the Game Pass that you want to purchase. That number I told you to copy, pretty much. So here, whenever someone joins, we want to check, as I said, if they own the Game Pass. So if, owns Game Pass, okay, give it the parameters that it needs, so player and Game Pass ID. Now, in this case, you do want to make sure to, write it in the same format. Okay, because here you're just passing this number, and here this is an argument, not the same thing. Again, watch the video on functions. So you're gonna do stuff if they own the Game Pass, okay? You're gonna give them benefits and all that cool stuff. Now, we also want to do something else, because yeah, you want them to receive the benefits whenever they join the game, but you also want them to receive the benefits whenever they, you know, buy it. So if you have that window which comes up on the screen and you click purchase, you want them to receive the benefits instantly. You don't want them to have to rejoin the game every time they buy a game pass just to receive the benefits, okay? Players will get annoyed. So what you have to do is marketplace.prompt game pass purchase. So prompt game pass purchased, finished, just like that, okay? Connect function player. Now this is going to be slightly long. Purchased game pass ID and purchased value, okay? So again, whenever someone clicks that button, so you know, you get that prompt and pretty much you have cancel and purchase. And if you click purchase, so if you click this buy now, okay, and click OK, this event will trigger pretty much. So whenever you click OK after you purchase, this will get triggered, okay? So whenever someone buys that game pass while inside of your game, you're going to run stuff in here, okay? Again, functions, events, link in the description below. But essentially, I just explained that in as little amount of time as I could. So these are the parameters which get passed, you know, actually, these are the arguments which get passed whenever this event triggers this function, okay? That might be slightly confusing to you, I know, but just keep in mind that events trigger functions and functions have arguments, okay? So this is the player that actually bought the game pass, okay? And this is the game pass ID of that game pass, okay? And purchased, okay, purchase value, just like that. So this is if they actually bought that game pass. So this can be true or false. So they either bought the game pass or they didn't, okay? First thing you want to check if you know, is if they actually bought the game pass. So if purchased value, then you know, this means that they bought the game pass. Great, you know, you got a sale. Now I want to check if, you know, actually, you just want to check for the Game Pass ID, because you can have multiple Game Passes in one game, obviously. So if purchased Game Pass ID, okay, so this is the ID or that number of the Game Pass which they just purchased, okay? You want to make sure that it's the same as this right here. So if that is equal to Game Pass ID, then you can give them bonuses, okay? So just like that. So if they purchased your Game Pass, and if that Game Pass ID, which they just purchased, okay, is the same as the Game Pass that you're trying to script, then you can give them bonuses. So if they bought a gun Game Pass, you want to check they actually bought that gun Game Pass, okay? And if they did, then you want to check if the Game Pass they bought, okay, is equivalent to that gun Game Pass, pretty much. Slightly confusing, I know, but as you script more and more, you'll actually start to understand the logic behind it. And all we have to do now is pretty much just, you know, connect these two things. So this happens whenever they join the game and they own the Game Pass, and this happens whenever they buy the Game Pass, okay? So I'm just going to create a new new function called local function, give Game Pass. Okay, and I'm just going to say gun, because this is going to be a gun Game Pass. You can pretty much do whatever you guys want at this point, but I'm just going to give them a gun if they join. So I'm just going to have a player argument, just like this, and I'm going to copy and paste this part and paste it right here, okay? After they join pretty much, and we confirm that they own the Game Pass, and after we confirm that they actually bought it. So just like that, okay? Now all I'm going to do is go to the toolbox. Now if you don't have this open, just go to view toolbox, just click that and search up gun, you know, and I'm just going to insert the first thing, really this, okay? I'm just going to drag this into the script, just like that, and all I'm going to do is script.handgun, okay? So script.handgun clone. Okay, so you're pretty much copying it. Now, if you don't know what clone is, again, I have a tutorial on instances. Link will also be in the description below. And essentially, you're just going to clone that and declare the parent. So the parent is equal to player.backpack. Okay, so you're finding the gun, okay, inside of the script, and you're cloning it, and you're setting the parent of the clone, which you just cloned, pretty much, to the player's backpack. Now, the player's backpack is... Oh, you know how... Let me just play and actually show you, because this will be way easier like that. Let me just join in. And you know how you have this sort of, backpack? I mean, that's what I call it. It's a backpack. So this is your backpack, where you have your tools, essentially. So now, anything inside of your backpack will show up here. So let me just go here. So this is the backpack. So if I have something in here, let me just create a tool inside of that. As you guys can see, it'll actually show up here instantly. Okay, just like that. And if I click buy Game Pass, okay, the prompt will come up. No errors at all. And I'm going to click buy now. Okay, click OK. And as you guys can see, I was given a handgun, this free modeled handgun, which I just, inserted from the toolbox. And it works fine, just like that. Pretty cool. And you can't buy, usually you can't buy that again. You can buy this again because you're in studio and you haven't actually bought this. However, normally this wouldn't work. It'll say you already own this Game Pass. Okay, let me just stop. Like that. And that's pretty much how to make a fully working Game Pass from start to finish. So yeah, I would really appreciate if you guys just leave a like, and if you enjoyed this video, subscribe. I have a ton more videos just like this one. And if you have any suggestions for future videos I should make next, just leave a comment in the comment section down below suggesting that video idea, and I'll see you guys next time.